What's up YouTube, JP here. So today we got a 2022 Kia Stinger Scorpion package. We are going to install the Stillen cold air intake with wet filters. Let's get started. Alright guys, the very first thing you're going to do, get into the trunk of the vehicle, go ahead and disconnect the ground side of your battery. From there we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to go ahead and pull off the strut tower mounts. Let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and remove these intake boxes. I'm going to start with your two clamps, one on each side, and get these boxes out of the way here. Four clips. There's your first lid. We'll set it down here. Move to the other side. Same thing on this box. Set it down to the side. Alright you guys, the next step, you can go ahead and remove your air filters themselves. You can just place them up on the motor for now. We're going to go ahead and remove the lower box. You're going to have three 10mm bolts on each box. Get yourself a power tool if you got it. If not, just a ratchet. One, two, third one's down here a bit. Three. Go ahead and remove your lower air box. Set it down with the top of your air box. We'll move over to the other side. It's going to be the same thing, same three bolts. One, two, and three. Move on to the next step. Alright, so the next step in the process is going to be removing the front air ducts that went to the air box. You're going to have one on each side, two 10mm bolts going towards the front mount, front radiator support. I'm doing these by hand so we don't lose anything. Kind of have to feel for the bottom bolt. Got them broken loose. The instructions do say you'll need to retain these bolts for reuse, so make sure you don't lose them. Here's one. Two, there's your air duct. It's going to be the same thing on the other side. Okay, bottom bolt. Top bolt. Top bolt, and there is the second duct. So the very next step is we need to get these old intake tubes out of the way. You're going to have a hose here. You're also going to have two hoses on the lower section, and you're going to want to get to these 10mm hose clamps down on the turbos themselves. So we'll do the driver's side first, and then we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, we got that clamp broken loose. To try to steal my 10mm socket like they always do. Alright, we got it back. Didn't lose it. That's good. So we'll go ahead and move this hose off of this top section. Depending on how old your car is, they might be tougher than some. This is a fairly new car, so everything's pretty easy. So if you guys get down in here, you can see we've got these two hoses here and this large hose here going to the bottom section of that turbo pipe. So we need to go and remove those as well. And this one we can remove up here and move it afterwards because it's easier to get to up here. And it broken loose. There's one there. We're going to do the same thing here on this hose. We'll move it up here because it's easy to get to, and we'll transfer the hoses afterwards. If you need to assist yourself with breaking the hose loose, feel free. You don't need to squeeze too tightly. Work the hose off. Work the hose off the turbo. There you guys go. Next side, same thing. Hose clamp here for the turbo. And get that real loose so it's easier to come off. Then we're going to go ahead and remove that one hose. We're going to remove it up here because it's easier to get to, like we did the other side. There we go. Just so you guys know, these are your factory blow-off valves, aka recirculation valves for the turbo system. Just work this one out a little bit, and there you go. There's the second hose. Alright, so the next step is going to be the 45 bend silicone adapter is going to go on your passenger side turbo. You're going to go ahead and it comes with clamps. You're going to tighten these down but not over tighten them, so if you need to articulate the angle once it's all settled in there, so you'll leave them a little loose and tighten them last. 45 goes on the passenger side, 90 degree goes on the driver side. You come around here, we'll do this driver side first. You see, it goes right down in here, right onto the turbo itself. And then we're going to go ahead and get that tightened down. Alright, so moving on the passenger side, same thing here. Go ahead and get the silicone in there. I'm going to articulate it just so it's clear of everything right now. I'm using an 8mm socket because it's a little easier than a screwdriver. I'm just going to snug it up just enough so it stays put. And we will move on to the next step. Alright, you guys, so the next step in the instructions is simple. You're going to take your filter, you're going to take your driver's side pipe, which has the 3 ports here. You're going to go ahead and you're going to put your filter on. You're going to keep your clamp loose, that way if you need to move the filter in or out. Driver's side is going to be labeled. And go ahead, the curve is going to go under the filter. This is going to be how it's mounted to the car and stable. The nut and everything should be part of the filter already. You're going to want to tighten this down just to where you kind of can move the bracket around for articulation, so don't over tighten it. It is a locking nut, so just keep going. Right about there. I can move it around, but it's not too loose. Here we are. We can go ahead and put our hose clamp down on that silicone we put in there. We're going to articulate this filter neck down into that silicone. And then if you guys look, this bracket will eventually go down to this mounting hole here. So, and then our hoses, we're going to go ahead and put our hoses back on, but let's first tighten this hose clamp down here. Right, that's snug. We'll finish tightening it after we get it kind of articulated. That's why you have to leave everything loose, so you can get everything at the angle you need it. Okay. Alright, we'll start getting these hoses on. You can reuse your factory hoses. It says you do need to reverse the hose from the front to the filter housing. However, we want to keep this thing completely as stock as possible. I had extra hose lying around, so we just went ahead and made our own hoses, so that way there's no kinks. We got everything tightened down. You want to verify, if you come in here closely, you want to verify, very important, that your radiator hose is not touching the intake at all. You see there? So we'll go ahead and move along to the passenger side now. Passenger side, same thing. You're going to leave this clamp slightly loose so you can articulate things. Go ahead and put, should already be labeled passenger. Go ahead and put your passenger side bracket on. Keep it loose. And then we'll go ahead and get it installed. Same thing on the passenger side. You're going to go ahead and mount your bracket. You're going to make sure everything's loose, clearing everything. You don't want to hit the radiator hose. Once you get it into a position that everything fits, tighten down all your clamps. Put your hose on to the blow-off valve there. Tighten your filter bracket, and we'll move on to the shields now. It looks like these are not marked, but they're only going to fit one way. This one's going to go into the driver's side here. You've got to kind of work it in. It's going to line up. I'm going to reuse some of the factory bolts. This piece you're going to slide around. It's going to come over and meet up with that, and there is a push pin bracket right here.
Push it real good.
Alright, there you guys go. So we're going to go ahead and get this first one in. Grab the bolts. Alright, so you're going to reuse your factory bolts. Get that one started. Get that one started. Make sure your bracket's still lined up there. And then again, this front one goes. I'm gonna grab a wrench. Alright. I'm gonna get these started so they don't fall out on us. And keep them loose. Okay, so those two are started. Now this one here, I'm gonna have to kind of maneuver it to its proper location. over here, about like so. And once you guys get it, you're going to go ahead and get your bolt in there. I'll pause it. All right, once you have these 2 bolts here tightened down, you're going to have this bolt tightened down. There is going to be you can come around to this side, or if you can see this, there's going to be a slot where the stud with the supplied self-tapping Phillips. Go ahead and get that started. Don't worry if it pushes away at first. Correct it once it starts to bite and grab. And we're going to go ahead and correct it now. It's got a bite on the bolt. There we go. Keep them pinched together. Go. Should come snug. There you go. Now one intake side is done. We'll move on to the next side. Last side, you guys, same exact thing. We're gonna go ahead and get this bolt down here started. Grab our bolt. A little hard to see, so grab my wrench. Make sure we're getting that down there. Looks like it's a little high right now. Pull back out. Drop the bolt down a little lower. Alright, about there we go. That's much better. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this one until it's just about snug. About there. Okay, we're going to leave that there. Go ahead and feed in our second piece. Again, goes under, around, and then you're going to put your 2 dowels in. This particular one, the second half goes over the top. The other side was under. So I'm going to go here, 1 dowel. This one's stuck underneath. There we are. 1 down there. Now, 1 dowel, just like that. Alright, now we're going to get our 2 bolts from our original airbox. And there. There. Don't go too far. Want to make sure this stays lined up. I'm going to take our 2 supplied self-starting Phillips. Get them in those dowels. One. Grab a smaller Phillips. Now we got a little more room to work. Get this dowel lined up. Should seamlessly come together nicely. And there you go. Nice. Go ahead and tighten these. And there you guys have it. Don't forget to tighten this last one. And then we're going to go ahead and put our strut bars back in. Okay. Very last part, you're going to go ahead and put your strut bars back in as they came out. And run them down. I like to make sure they're on their original marks. Okay, there's one. There you guys go. Don't forget to plug in your battery.
I'm not even stepping on it. He's like, she's breathing. Baby girl's got a new set of lungs. Oh, that is fucking sick. That is sick. That is sick. That's awesome. That is nice.
That sounds sweet.
Nice.
Just enough.
That is just enough.